Here we go.
Here we go again.
Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Of all ages.
Hope you had a great Valentine's Day and a successful President's Day. I don't know how to.
Can I make a small
Go
joke at today? Well, today day of recording is
Monday, President's Day.
President's Day.
Yeah.
And a couple days ago, somebody went 0 and 2 for
Right.
like, I just thought it was funny that it was like, hey, this happened. Like, Trump got acquitted for the second time.
Right.
And then it's President's Day. Like, and you and I both, we're very Switzerland neutral. Like,
I'm not. I just come across as very Switzerland neutral.
I was trying to be. Yeah, I was trying to be. Whatever. That we're.
I'm an equal opportunity.
Yeah.
I hate them all.
That's my point. Like, I don't. Yeah. Yes, but we tend to have our eyes, social media wise, on some people that have drank the Kool-Aid.
From
gallons.
From
gallons. Gallons of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And from both pictures.
Yeah. Yes.
I think if I had to describe myself, if somebody said, I would like you to pinpoint your political ideology.
Okay.
The term anarcho-capitalist comes to mind.
Wow. See, I don't even care enough to know. No, I'm just saying, like, I am so neutral because I don't like anyone. Like,
right.
Any of them. I'd say, like, either one, but it branches off more than that, and I don't.
Right. I hate them all.
I just don't like them.
Yeah.
And it's just, okay. So when everybody's like, hey, I'm on this side. Yeah, well, they're dumb.
Yeah, they're stupid.
And then it's this, hey, well, I like this person. Well, they're dumb too. So. And like I said, it's the old guy. It was the old guys from the Muppets.
Right.
Just
I'm
arguing.
in that zone where my very conservative friends think that I'm some sort of flaming liberal.
Right.
And my flaming liberal friends think that I'm just some heartless right-wing conservative.
Nice.
When really, although I love you, I hate all of you.
Right. As far as that's concerned.
Right.
Like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
We can talk about anything other than that, but you're going to get some smart aleck answer from me.
You want to talk about putting the dime in the jukebox.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Unless you're ready to dance.
Yeah. Don't
open that jar with me.
Yeah, that's why everyone was like, we're closing the jar. No.
Speaking of capitalism, though.
Were we?
Well, sure.
All right.
Speaking of capitalism, the heart of capitalism is the small business, the American small business. And I'm gonna hold this up to the camera.
This is pretty awesome.
Nice view for the camera. These were made for us by our friend Mika. He owns a small business called Discretions, and he recently bought a laser, which is just the coolest mad scientist move you can pull, right?
Yeah, because he's
been doing wood for years.
Listen, we've been, I'd say, the devil and angel voices in his ear for quite some time. But I don't think we were on either side. We've both been on essentially the devil's side of being like, do it. Pull the trigger, man.
Yeah.
Get that laser. Yeah. It's awesome. Do it. That's not bad.
Just tell your wife I said it was okay.
Right. We've had that conversation on numerous times. And so to actually pull the trigger, we can stand up and say, we were little voices of being like, that would be awesome.
And he's making cool stuff. I had him make a Valentine's Day gift for my wife, a custom coffee mug that I designed, and he was able to brilliantly transfer that onto metal with a laser, which is, again, it's just freaking cool.
Yeah.
So, yes. These mugs.
Discretions.
And I've been told that if you contact Discretions, he will make you one. Nice. So if you want one of these mugs, I've given him permission to sell them
Nice.
And we're not taking a cut on it.
Yeah.
It's just,
Get
if you want
yourself
our stupid faces on your coffee mug, let him know and he'll take good care of you.
Yeah. This is now my go-to mug. No reason for it to not be. So, yeah, man. Capitalism. All right. I was like, I don't know how to like segue from capitalism.
Well, we can go from capitalism to the probably communist country of Sokovia.
I was like, go straight into it because I just have to point out
the last communists there.
You never know in Sokovia.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because the last couple weeks since WandaVision has come out, we're like, all right, we're going to start talking about it. And like the first time, we ended up talking about it for like 45 minutes. It was a longer episode. Right. And so like the next week, it's like, all right, let's get into it earlier. And we still talked about it for quite some time. So I just find it really funny that we're like, hey, here's the little thing. All right, let's get into it.
Now let's
next week, it's just going to be like, welcome to Tucker and the Beer, talk about WandaVision. Here we go. And just go straight into it.
It's our new channel where it's all WandaVision all the time.
For the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's so... I watched some other things that I'll touch
I did too.
base on.
I do watch things that aren't this one... Listen, these episodes are only like 20 minutes long. We are literally talking about them for twice the length that they actually are. Because there's so much to break
apart. Like, I wish I had the strength to not watch them for like the next however many weeks.
Right.
And then just binge them.
I can't do that.
But I can't do that. And this show has touched a mark of, I wake up in the morning, Friday morning, and if I get on my phone, there's reviews.
Right. It's
there's
so
spoilers.
Fast. You know, you're scrolling through YouTube and it's like 55 Easter eggs in this week. I'm like, how have you watched the episode?
Throw my phone against the wall, thinking that it's going to stop the internet.
How have these YouTubers watched the episode?
Right.
Gathered all the footage, because a lot of these, they'll show clips and like, how have you done this in such a short period of time?
Is it 12:01? And you're pushing play,
but then rolling right into record. Maybe that's how they do it, and then they just go to bed.
And then that's the only thing I can think of because, I mean, it's been people like Kevin Smith is like, here's a full review, and I'm like, man, I'm not even awake yet.
Right?
How are you doing this? And I'm an hour ahead.
Yeah. If he's in California.
Yeah.
2 hours behind if he's in New Jersey. But things are getting stranger.
Yes. This is the equivalent to, and I've said this before, of Lost. The TV show Lost, where it was like that water cooler thing where everybody talked about it for the rest of the week. Right. And trying to dissect different things.
Right.
And it's probably, as far as Marvel goes, the most meta, like, references. They're pulling out characters that are, you're just overboard. Like, what?
Almost.
Well, it's kind of like Iron Man 2.
Right.
Iron Man 2 is probably my least favorite in some instances.
Oh, really? Because I think it's Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Is the worst.
No, I agree. Iron Man 3 is... It never should have been made.
Iron Man 3 was only slightly better than Spider-Man 3.
Wow. Okay. That's a statement. I can't even argue with it. No, but Iron Man 2, the thing I didn't like about it is because it was before, it's like when they were ramping everything up for the Avengers.
Right.
And they threw so much stuff into that movie. From Captain America's shield to like so many small references to try and hit the gas pedal to get to Avengers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it was like, oh, okay, cool. Like it was still good, but it was so many little things. And this is just so many subtle things that I'm having to read up on. And again, it's outside of my wheelhouse of knowing things about Mephisto. Right. Yeah, that's not one of those characters that I know about. And they haven't... Everybody thinks that's where it's going. I don't no, nothing's been said yet. Or nobody's popped out being like, hey, I'm Mephisto.
Right.
Who's like this devil Loki kind of character doing deals with people.
Right.
For his benefit. And in the comics, things are kind of lining up with different storylines that he played a part of.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And that's possible.
I think there's multiple bad guys.
I think this is one kind of route that I've been going down. And I got to remember the character's name, so give me just a moment.
Which one?
He was played by Will.i.am in Origins.
Oh, the teleporting dude?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember the character's name, but...
I'll get into it here and just... What is his name? I had it earlier, and I actually wrote it down so that I would remember it, but, then I left the note at home.
The thing. Okay.
This dude's had a lot more
TV
and movie appearances than I thought.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with this.
And I'll explain in just a moment.
Okay. Well, while you're looking for that, So it started... Awesomely, I love this sitcom that it copied itself out of this week was Malcolm in the Middle.
Right. I mean, that the theme song was...
Spot on.
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle. And then the kids kind of took the talking to the camera thing like Malcolm would do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, there was so... I was like, I don't even know where to start with this episode. There was so much. And we were right as far as things taking place inside the hex.
Right.
And things taking place outside of said hex. And yeah, it was like a Halloween episode where all of a sudden more kids showed up.
Mm-hmm.
After last week where Vision was like, there's no other kids other than our kids.
Until this episode.
And then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw a lot of Wanda's power in this episode. And it's kind of weird because Pietro, her brother, kind of knows what's going on.
Right.
And just kind of calling her out, but they don't have a memory.
Well, we had another moment too in the show part.
Right.
Where one of the characters was like, "Do you want me to change something?" Like taking direction from Wanda.
Right. But it wasn't in the same as everybody else. There's certain people other than the main cast.
Right.
Which is kind of how I'm seeing it. The main cast kind of can go off script.
Right.
A little bit. It was like last week where Agnes was like, should we start from the top? Like the scene? Because if they're thrown off their cue, because the last week she was supposed to hold the babies. And Vision was like, no, it's okay. And it threw her off script. And so it kind of happened this week with Vision not going trick-or-treating with the family, that he was on neighborhood watch. And that's not what he was supposed to be doing. And Wanda kind of caught herself.
Right.
She was like, but that's not what he's like, go ahead and finish that. And then his costume, it was cool thing because the main cast dressed in their comic book costumes for Halloween, and Vision came down wearing his costume from like the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And it made the statement that it was the only thing in his closet.
Right. He's like, what are you wearing? She's like, well, it was the only thing in the closet.
Right. Which is just, this is what she wanted him to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what he's going to wear. And so
he's fully in on the fact that she's doing something, but she still has some control over him.
Right.
Because she can make him kind of stop in his tracks.
Right.
With what he's saying and kind of change. And he's playing along occasionally as well.
And then, so his storyline, this one is kind of investigating and finding out what's going on in the town. And he got to, I'll use it's almost like a cell phone tower or something. Like, I think Wanda's kind of the tower, and everything close to her is following script.
Right. And then as it gets further away from her, it's just set.
Yeah, like it was kind of using a internet or a cell, they were frozen. And I was watching it with the kids, and it was kind of trying to explain that everybody outside of that radius was lagging.
No, I don't think they were
They're
lagging.
frozen.
I think they were waiting on their mark.
Right. But they were just
like you
frozen.
would on a movie set.
Right.
Everything's happening right over here, but the guys on the next part of the set, they're held at their mark, ready for the camera to roll.
Right.
So there's no reason for them to move until the camera's on them, or in this situation, until Wanda is standing next to them.
Right. So, but it was just kind of fascinating that there was one lady that seemed to just be buffering. She was just doing this over and over, or like a GIF or whatever, that it was just kind of doing this over and over again, but you could see the tear come down, which is really disturbing.
Super disturbing, yeah.
Like, it's a new fear of mine to be like, hey, I'm locked in my own body.
With somebody else controlling who I am, what I say, what I do.
Right, watching what I'm doing and having no control. No thanks.
Okay,
so sorry, I was...
Let me dive into this for just a second.
Go.
Okay, so on the outside of the hex,
yes,
we've got the little military installation.
Yes,
and our friends from the MCU have been asked to leave because they're causing trouble.
Right.
And after they leave, they start trying to break into Homeboy's computer and his all of his stuff.
And there's a lot more going on that he knows about.
Yeah. And then they're finding files on those devices.
Right.
With names, medical records.
Right.
One of the names that pops up is Ray Johnson.
Okay.
Ray Johnson is one of the names that the character Kestrel used as an alias.
Okay. And see, I don't know.
And so this is where some of the X-Men kind of stuff is coming into play.
Okay.
But again, we know that from that group is where we get the version of Pietro that is now in WandaVision.
Right.
So it could have just been a simple Easter egg.
Right.
For people who were really trying to pay attention and were willing to Google the names that popped up on those individual little folders and do some legwork on that stuff. But just very interesting altogether that this one name happened to be somebody who was in the town.
Right.
And we know that guy can jump between
Now,
places.
do we know if those files were people from the town or just in general?
They made it sound like they were the medical records of everyone in the town.
Okay.
So again, it could have just been a little bit of an Easter egg.
Right.
Or
it could be something more.
This character, Kestrel, has the ability to teleport through time and space.
Right.
So
yeah,
with everything that's going on, it could be a credible. It could be a credible.
So
source.
much going on. Because what episode was this? 6, right?
6.
So
we've
there's
got 2 more.
2 more? Not 3 more. I think there's 9.
Oh, okay. I thought there was only 8.
So either way, because it was like the first 3 episodes were really like slower.
Right.
And then episode 4 hit, and it was just like, buckle up. Like, here's all the answers, plus some things to have
that
some
you didn't
additional
even know
questions.
that you wanted to know.
And then some big questions. But yeah, there's some throwaway lines. Well, first of all, I'm still putting all my eggs in the basket that this is about the kids.
Well, we saw one of the kids develop.
Both of them did.
Did I miss something? When I was trying to pay attention to too many things at once?
Probably.
Because I know that I obviously saw the super.
So, yeah, in the comics, their kids that are created end up becoming superheroes called Speed, who has super speed, and then Wiccan, who has kind of more of the Scarlet Witch powers.
Okay.
And we find a point where the kid is hearing his dad.
Right.
In pain. So that's his...
Right. Oh, okay.
That's his powers.
I gotcha. I didn't put
it's
that
not
together.
like It's not like a
It wasn't
connection.
as obvious as...
right. The super speed.
Running down
and
the
then
road
he
to
stopped the other brother.
Yeah.
Using like his powers, and then he has like telekinesis and like stuff like that, and is able to have that connection and stuff like that. So Vision ends up finding the wall, the barrier. When he starts going through this side of town that's like lagging and everything
don't
like that,
go
he's
past,
getting
what was it, Ellis Avenue.
Past the street, he goes and finds the wall and goes through it. Ends up being confronted, but I mean, he's being ripped apart. He's connected to this hex.
Yes.
And so he's kind of being pulled back in. It was like rubber band. He was being pulled back. But he was...
Well, and then we have... he runs into Agnes.
Yes. Right.
Like that
right
part
before
of
he does that, yeah. Who, again, I don't think that she's the Agnes or whatever from the I don't...
the more that time goes by, the more episodes that go on, I don't think that she's a deeper character than she is. But he
woke her up.
She's becoming aware.
Yeah, she strayed too far away from Wanda.
Right.
Into this neighborhood. So she was stuck in her car at a stop sign and was just making statements like she got lost.
Yeah, she made a wrong turn trying to get to
supposedly in the town that she grew up in. And so, he wakes her up and she lets Vision know that he's dead and he's one of the Avengers. He doesn't know anything about the Avengers. Yeah. And that just kind of... Then he puts her back to sleep, then ends up finding the barrier and walking through, and is pretty much like, help save them. Help save the...
Right.
Everybody.
But because, what we've seen is... We've seen Wanda leave the Hex.
Right.
We've seen Monica leave the Hex.
Right.
But they're alive on the outside.
Right.
So they kind of can.
Right. He's
not. And as he starts leaving, watching him disintegrate.
Right.
Basically turning into what he really is on the outside of the Hex. It was crazy to watch that.
Right. He was just kind of breaking apart.
Yeah.
And getting sucked back into the thing. But one of the kids, Wiccan, I don't know which one's which of Tommy and Billy, one of the twins, hears his dad in pain and tells Wanda. And Wanda then hits cut, so to speak, like freezes the set. Mm-hmm. And her powers go nuts.
Right.
And now the Hex is much larger. It starts to grow. And in an aggressive manner. Yes.
In a manner that is weaponized.
Yeah. And since the little base was there,
watching that
cool
turn into circus tents and just all the little things that other stuff turned into. Watching that mega car dealership turn into like an old mom and pop roadside used car lot. Yeah, it was so cool how
everything's converted. Well, and the helicopter turned into like a hot air balloon at the carnival, and all the SHIELD agents or sword agents. Sorry, SHIELD. Turned into like clowns and carnival workers.
Yeah.
So it's just everything being converted, and we got kind of backing up a little bit. We got, because you mentioned Monica getting knocked out, because she's gone through the Hex and now she's gone through it twice.
What I'm guessing we're seeing here is the catalyst for her superpowers.
Yes.
Because they talked about, they made it very much a point. Be like, when you went in and went out and went back in, all of that, it changed you molecularly.
Yeah. You can't go back in.
Right.
Because don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen to you.
So
I think we have the catalyst for her superpower.
Yeah. I mean,
and poor Darcy's handcuffed to a...
I can't wait to see what happened to her.
I can't either. It's like, all we know is that she was handcuffed and she got left behind.
Yeah, they left her and she got put inside of the hex, which Wanda knows her from when she came out and saw her. Like,
right.
And so it's just kind of one of those different... I'm like, I can't wait to see her as a clown. I don't know, like, what's gonna... She's the ringmaster? I don't know. You know, but she's gonna... It's just kind of a whole different setup where I think Wanda's a bad guy. One of the bad guys. But she even said she didn't remember how she started it. She didn't remember how she created
She didn't remember necessarily doing it.
She was just in a bad place.
Right.
And then this started. So, again, I don't think she's behind it. I think she's just an opportunity to have what she wants.
Right. I think she's just trying... This is a bipolar episode.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about...
The death of Vision broke her.
Right.
It broke her psyche in a way that she is using a coping method. And while those of us without superpowers, you know, we have our own coping methods to severe trauma.
Yeah, she can change reality.
Some of them are destructive, some of, you know.
Yeah.
And so this is what happens when arguably the most powerful creature, entity that we know of in the MCU has a manic episode.
Yeah, has a breakdown.
Yeah.
Because she can affect reality, and here we are. And then I'm like, okay. And just because I like the kids, I don't want to see them get, like, erased. But we'll see. I don't know.
Well, again, going back to the comics, at a certain point, they do get erased.
Yeah. And she
loses it.
Yeah.
Again.
So that's why I'm like, is the setup going to be to that where the kids are now taken from her and she loses it and really fractures the multiverse?
But I think that's what this is all leading up to.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to use that fracturing in reality to bring about the introduction of this other Marvel universe.
Yep.
And bring that into the MCU.
Yeah, and combine...
You know, because how do you explain the Battle of New York?
Right.
Where, if these other superheroes, like, where were you at, Professor X?
Right.
You're just across the river.
Yeah, you could have helped.
Like, where were you?
Right. And so I think it's a perfect...
And they're so committed to continuity that this is the way that they can bring that together.
They can bring...
Why weren't you there, Professor X?
Right. Where were you at, Wolverine?
I was in a different dimension.
Right.
I'm from a, you know...
That didn't happen
It's a
here.
parallel universe.
Right.
And now we're able to fracture that.
Right.
And how Doctor Strange fixes it.
Right.
Could very well be a merging of those two.
In order to fix that, he has to...
There could be a merger of those two.
Right.
Which sets up for a whole different set of...
Yeah.
Of cool stories to tell, really.
Right. There's just so much, like I said every single week. Like, you can do whatever at this point.
Right.
Hugh Jackman can show up as Wolverine. It's fine. Deadpool can show up and talk to the TV audience.
Could you imagine? Again, this is really more just conjecture.
Fan fiction.
Yeah. Now we're going firmly into the fan fiction realm.
Right.
But Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man on the same screen as Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
Would be amazing.
Yeah. It would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's just one of those...
But a world where the Avengers exist in the same place that the Weapon X program existed.
Right. Is There's so much.
That's a lot for humanity to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't hear the talk of mutants and anti-mutant factions and all of that. I mean, we got a tiny little hint of that in Civil War.
Right.
But that was just a taste.
Right. Of...
where was William Stryker in Civil War?
Right. He would have been the perfect person to be standing up and do that. There's so many great storylines that they can now do.
Is that I firmly believe that Tony Stark would hate William Stryker.
Oh yeah.
But in order for them to fight, they were essentially on the same side of Civil War.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's just you start getting into those weeds, man. I'm
just asking Marvel not to go too deep in the weeds because they could very, very easily.
Sure.
But I'm asking for everyone's sake.
Well, and to the fans, to the public.
Right.
It's a new set of stories.
Right.
Everything does not have to perfectly fit like a little piece of a jigsaw puzzle into every other movie and comic book you've ever read.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And it's okay if they just kind of do their best and loosely connect them.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Because again, if Tony Stark had to side with with Stryker, the Civil War would never have happened.
No.
Because Tony Stark would not he would not have fought alongside
Stryker. Yeah, and there's been it's just so I'm sitting here my brain is just in shambles as far as all the things that could happen.
Right.
What is going to happen. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, is it Friday yet?
Right. And unfortunately,
because I want to know what happens.
It's only Monday.
Right. So, no, that was good. I sat there and told you, kind of segueing for a second, because it's WandaVision.
Again, we can do this for a while.
But I told you we rented. So a brand new movie release, which is just a cool concept that I think we've talked about numerous before of what the world is coming to.
I have not rented a movie in nearly a year.
Like an actual movie.
In any format.
Okay.
I have not rented a movie.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of new release movies.
Right.
Because of HBO.
Right.
So I saw Wonder Woman.
Right. But you didn't rent that one.
I didn't pay anything extra for it. It's part of my HBO subscription.
Right. So this is the first time I think that I've done this actual rental new release.
Yeah.
Essentially the new equivalent of what movie theaters are.
Right.
$20 for 2 days.
See, on Amazon they had it for like $7 when I looked it up.
Oh shit.
For a rental.
Yeah. It's $20 for Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. And I was kind of talking to you briefly about it. I've recommended it to you with the caveat of don't think.
Right.
But it's just, I think the world needs more. Because after I watched this, my wife and I started scrolling through the new releases.
Right.
Of movies that you could either rent or watch, stream, whatever. All the new movies. There's not a whole lot of comedies, man. It's all depressing stuff.
Right. So we watched a couple of over the last few weeks. We've watched a couple of movies. Mm-hmm. We've been more leaning toward limited run series.
Right.
Over the last month or so. But we watched, as far as new releases go, obviously, again, we watched Wonder Woman, but we watched a movie called The Little Things.
Okay.
Wow.
Which one
intense.
is this?
So it was a very different kind of serial killer type movie.
Oh, okay.
Had Jared Leto and Denzel Washington in it.
Oh, yeah. I saw the trailer or something for it.
And then Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good wow?
Wow.
Okay. No, I'll check it out.
So it's not the type of crime thriller that there's a lot of action. It's not Seven.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
but it's in that same category. It's in that same vein. Okay. Very, very good movie.
Yeah. No, and I was like, that sounds really good. I'll check that out. It was just...
If it hasn't been released on Disney Plus or, like other... Right. I've not rented a new release.
Well, I did. So you
Good
win.
for you.
No,
it's not me winning. It's just...
Right. It's just been that long since you've had the desire to actually do that. I agree with you.
I was thinking to myself, because when I watched the trailer for Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar,
right,
it said available everywhere you rent movies.
Right. And
so I looked it up, and it showed that it was a $7 rental on Amazon.
Okay.
And I was like, $7 seems a little steep. I wonder if it's on Redbox. I can just go pick it up at Redbox, and it wasn't.
Right.
So it's not everywhere you rent movies.
Wow. It's Blockbuster.
Yeah. That was my okay boomer moment.
Right.
Like, all right, bro.
Yeah. No, I did spend that because my wife has been eagerly waiting for this movie to come out. Like, she's been super excited. She's a big Kristen Wiig fan and Jamie Dornan fan. But, she's been she enjoys comedies. And it was just that kind of, with this movie came a lot of thought of, like I said, we were going through the new releases and stuff, and there's no comedies. There's no feel-good movies. It's crime thrillers and action and, taken at an airport. Like, I don't know, he came out with some movie and I was like, all right, his kid gets kidnapped at the airport and he's got to save it. So it was just, taken in the snow.
All right, Liam Neeson. Just make a different kind of movie. We know you're capable of it.
Like, you are the action star. You got this.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like Tom Hanks. Coming out with a drama set Western. Cool. Do like a Big or The Burbs. Or do a comedy.
Bring back the funny.
Bring back a Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
If you're listening. Listen,
Which I heard they were remaking, and I violently disagree with that decision.
Oh, there's so many... Yes. I was like, there's been so many casting things, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I'm right here. Just let me know.
Because apparently they'll cast anybody and anything these days.
It's like Burt Reynolds as Boss Hogg. Like, no one wanted to think about that one?
No, yeah.
Which kind of talking about Burt Reynolds for just a second before we go.
Okay.
Because he passed.
Mm-hmm.
Like did you hear about this?
Yeah.
No. He passed 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I just saw a thing today. He hasn't been buried yet.
Why?
They're waiting to do a thing. I don't know.
Huh.
But I was like, I don't even.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he hasn't been buried yet. They haven't had
for a second there. I thought you were like, you just found out. Then I was like, bro, that happened.
Right. No. Listen, I'm a big Burt Reynolds fan.
Yeah.
I mourned. I'm here, but it was on the news. It's like, yep, they just the news found out. It's like, hey,
still got him on ice. Huh?
Just let everybody know. Like, what?
That's intriguing.
I don't even know. I don't know anymore.
Another one now. I'm late to the party on this one because it came out last January.
Okay.
But The Outsider.
Okay.
It was a limited series. I think it was 10 episodes on HBO.
Okay.
Jason Bateman starred in
Ozark.
I mean he starred in some of the show.
Okay.
And directed and produced a lot of the show, and it was really good.
Okay. It
was really good. It was like it for people who don't really want a super scary movie. Okay. It's kind of an ancient evil type.
So it's a Tucker version, is what you're saying,
right? No, right. And it was light.
I feel like a while
and
back
not
when
as
we
good,
started,
but still really good.
Yeah, when we started talking about scary movies and stuff, and I throw them. I just don't if I have a choice of movies, I'm not leaning towards a scary movie.
And in 2021, you'll have a choice of movies.
Right.
Always.
I always have a choice of movies.
Right.
So I just don't.
So unless I drag you kicking and screaming,
Right.
you're not going to watch a horror movie.
Right, but you sit there and talk about it, and I'm making a bold statement as far as this because it's not like I've sat there and watched it since we watched it.
Right.
We had like a little Tucker and the Beard marathon of watching the It movies. Looking back on it, they weren't really that scary.
No, but this has it. What it has was those kind of really scary moments, and it had more. It had more tension.
Okay.
Where you're waiting for something to happen. Where this one, it was more mental.
Okay.
So it was just kind of making you think like what is actually going on.
Okay.
And
a psychological thriller.
And in a nice little twist, it's a Stephen King story that doesn't take place in Maine.
Fantastic.
So,
all right,
it's got that going for it.
Okay.
But it was really good.
Nice.
It really was, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't scary.
Okay.
I'll
check it out. I'm not guaranteeing anything. That's why I was like, I'll check it out.
No, my wife is also not. She does not like scary movies.
Right.
At all.
Cool.
But she'll sit through one sometimes.
Right.
And this one she enjoyed.
Okay.
So
nice.
That's saying something.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I finished Peaky Blinders.
Congratulations. I just can't. I've tried several times to get into it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of those shows where, and we've talked about, of putting things in there for the sake of shock and awe that don't really need to be in there.
Right.
There's a lot of inappropriate things that you're just like, that's not relevant to the overall arcing story.
Right.
But
there it is.
Good on them, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of mafia.
And I usually am too. Like, throw me a gangster movie and I'm in.
Yeah, and it is that. It's a lot of.
And it doesn't. It could be
business.
Mafia gangster.
Right.
It could be gangster. That's why I like westerns as much as I do. Those old. And that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it is that of them starting these, illegal business and trying to make it legitimate. And I got really, really in. It took me a little bit to actually get going because every time I started it, I ended up like falling asleep or something because it's just that. So, but yeah, got it all done and finished.
And then right now we're only halfway through, but this goes into. I enjoy true crime stories,
right,
a lot. And there's a little 4-part docuseries on Netflix right now, it's called Crime Scene: Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel.
Okay, is this the lady that ended up? They found,
yes,
her. We'll say on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know of it, but there's no explanation of how it happened.
Right, and this is digging into some possibilities.
Gotcha.
Essentially. So,
gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think you can spoil.
I know. I was trying not to.
I don't think you can spoil.
I'm just like in the water tank, right?
An 8-year-old crime story that was broadcast all over the news.
Right.
But yeah, this girl goes missing, and they find her 20 days later in the water storage tank of the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty seedy place.
Right.
Right on Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles. As one of the people that were being interviewed said, mere steps away from the largest open-air drug markets on the planet.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a rough spot, and it's got a long history. And so, but it's been a cool show to watch.
Yeah. So no, I've heard some of those things of that story, and
and there's conspiracy theories that are kind of tied into it, and there's a lot.
Right.
So
no, I'll check it out.
It's fun. Again, I enjoy those type of things.
As do I. I just have to be in the mood for it. Kind of go back
for you, in a way, it's going back to work.
Yeah. Which,
and so I
as
get
you've
why
seen
you're
from,
not as interested in them
it's
maybe
not,
as I would be.
It's not that. Listen, I
don't want to watch a documentary about the wireless telecommunication business either.
Something did happen where it's like I used to like Hawaii Five-0, like the show. Like that was like a cool show. Like not the old one, but the remake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You kind of lose your taste for it.
Right.
Or different shows like that where you're just like, hey, I used to really like that show. Not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barb and Star, I'm encouraging you to watch it. It was kind of saying, it takes me back to the old, when Saturday Night Live was making the movies, like Night at the Roxbury and Corky Romano, and, like where it was just
that's kind of like watching the trailer. Comedy. That's kind of what it gave me those vibes.
Yeah. It was just stupid comedy, so like don't
what was that one that Andy Samberg was in? Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Yeah.
I think it was just called Pop Star. Was it
Pop Star. Yeah. But I think that whole title was Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stop. Like just ridiculous. That there's not really a plot, and the whole plot that's there, like you just don't think about it much because you'll find holes. Because it's very cartoony. They break out in songs, but it's really funny. And so it was just one of those, like my face hurt afterwards because I was just laughing and stuff. And then it was just like, that's just kind of what the world needs right now.
Yeah. The world could use a laugh.
Just shut your brain off and just watch the stupidity and the one-liners and stuff that doesn't really make sense, but somehow kind of does. And yeah, not for kids.
Not for kids. Most of those movies really weren't.
I know, but I feel the civic duty of hey, just a reminder.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Is it time?
It is. I gotta go take pictures of houses. Well, I'm not taking the pictures, but somebody's taking pictures. That's what I'm gonna go do. So, anyway.
Cool, man.
Thank you guys for listening, watching, all that stuff. If you want one of these coffee mugs, hit up our friends at Distractions.
Yep.
DistractionsAZ.com. And, yeah. Until next time, he is Tucker.
He's the Beard.
And we're out.